Yes. Wait for a few more people to come on in. By a couple more people, I mean just some people. Rational wrong think. Dude, you want to get in on the stream, man? Are you around your computer? We're going to start this stream for the 3 or 4 people that are watching real quick, so just hold tight. There's probably 2. But got to give 30 seconds for Rational here. Go get your popcorn. It's going to get my beer. I should probably run and get my beer. All right. Rational, respond. Good day. Good day, pipes. Good day. Need 3 to 5. All right. Well, hit me up when you're ready, man. I will. I'll send you a link right now. Nice, Michael. Glad to have you. Yeah, take a toke, bro. I thought about doing the same thing. Actually, I probably should. That'd be funny. I'm just worried I'll be way too dumb if I do. Okay, Matt Rational, I'm gonna just call you real quick. Well, just let me know, Rational, when you're in it, when you're ready to go, and then I'll send you a link, bro. Oh crap! I gotta switch over to my other one if you want to. If we want to put your face on, I gotta switch over to my other service. Rational, we will probably just be with you on vocals or voice, whatever. Because I'm in the wrong OBS right now and I don't want to switch it out because I'd have to change my stream and everything. Having said that, okay, I got here. What's going on, YouTube, man? 2 days in a row, might even be 3 days in a row. I think I'm on a streak here. I'm on a wild streak. So tonight we're going to talk about some fun stuff, and I'm just going to go for it tonight. I'm not going to mess around with a whole bunch of like reading articles and all that. We're just going to blast through some things, and I don't know how long this stream will take. It might only be half an hour. Knowing the way I talk, it'll probably be a lot longer. But either way, we're going to have fun. So stick around. Big thing I need you to do is I think everybody that's here is subscribed and bell notified on my channel, obviously, or you wouldn't be here. Please share this out on your Facebook and on your Twitter and on any of the social media platforms you use. I would like you guys to hit the share button right now while we're waiting. We're going to get Rational in here, and I'm going to do some shout outs in a second. And in about 3 minutes, we're going to get into some of the things I want to talk about. So some of you people out there that are impatient and tell me I need to get right into what I'm doing, you're just going to have to take 3 minutes and relax. That's what I'm telling you. So I would like you guys to share this out on your Facebook because YouTube's not doing it, man. They won't do it for me anymore. They won't share my stuff. They don't really share anybody who's a conservative. They don't like to share it. They don't like to share that stuff. So that's just the way of the world now. So let's make sure you guys share this shiznit out, okay? Share it out on Facebook. I don't care where. And make sure you hit that like button. I got 6 people watching right now. That's kind of average. And you know what? It's about right on live streams actually for amount of people I have on in my channel. Now 5. I said something wrong, pissed somebody off, but it's gonna be good times. So just share it out and don't be a dork, okay? Don't be like that. Don't be a jerk. man. Do it. Get to it already. Michael Hodges, I'm here. All right. I was trying to kill a little time. I shared, but they shadow banned me hardcore. Well, that's okay. At least you're sharing. You're trying. I was trying to give Rational. He said 3 to 5 minutes. I was trying to get him on here, but we'll just, when he says he's ready, I'll just take a break and call him in. So I had to smell if that water was okay. It was. It scared me for a minute. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to touch a little bit on what's going on the gun debate just because it's everywhere. And I still had a couple little points I want to touch on. I know most of us, normal Americans that aren't retards, we want to just move on past this already, right? Oh, sure. Now you're ready. Well, you just can hang on 1 second. I'm going to list out what I'm going to talk about tonight, Rational. What's going on? That's right. We're going to talk about that. I guess you guys know what we're going to talk about because I put it in the thing, but I'm going to say it anyways, Michael, so just relax, okay? Drone Tech, what's up, bro? I'm so glad you're here, man. So, yeah, we're going to talk about the gun debate. We're going to talk about the racist white supremacy chanting that's been going on against, Trump and all of his supporters. We're going to touch on Trump's visit to old El Paso, the stabbing spree. The Mississippi raids and the octopus woman face. If you haven't heard about that one, stick around. That one's a good one. That's going to be our fun little. And then at the end, what I'm going to do on the chats is I'm going to let you guys just talk amongst yourselves. I'm not going to get too caught up in that because it breaks up my flow. Towards the end of the stream, we're going to go back through and see if anything important was said. And if there's anything you really want to hear, write it down or just remember it and tell it to me at the end, and we'll talk about it. And I might even open up the phones. I like saying that. And by phones, I mean phone. Anyway, I want to give some shout outs before we get started here, and then I'm going to call Rational. We got Rational. We got Rational in the chat tonight. We had Mark, man. Mark was the first one in. Gator was here, but now Gator's not, and because he's driving home, and Gator's taking a little break from the old electronic devices for a while and focus on what really matters, the actual physical world around him and his loved ones. So I commend him for that, and shout out to Gator. But he did pop in to say hi. Got Michael Childress in here. Is it Childress or Childress? Doesn't really matter. I'm terrible with last names. So we got Michael in here. Shout out to Michael. Michael Hodges is in here. Shout out to other Michael. And we got the one and the only Drone Tech, Vanderhuge, in here, or Drone Tech Politics, however you want to call it. And we got Rebel Jack that just joined us. What's up, Rebel? How are you, man? Glad to have all you guys in here. Okay, so real quick here, I am going to bring on, do I need to chill? Was the methamphetamine I took right before, is it making me talk too fast? Just kidding. Okay. Oh, chill. You're explaining your name. Oh, time out. We should probably restart. I probably shouldn't have brought that whole, I'm kidding about the meth, okay? I don't do that. That's not cool. I'm going to call Rational real quick. And so you guys are going to hear me call him. Ding it, ding, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ding it, ding, ding, ding. Rational, answer, bro. Don't do this to me. Oh, man. Awkward. A little awkward. No, chill. Chill dress. Okay, got it. I'm talking to you. Come on, Rat. You said you were ready to go, bro. Come on, man. Hello, you there? Rational, you there?
Can you hear me, mate?
I can hear you. I thought you were standing me up, dude. Can everybody hear Rational in the chat? Rational, I can't put you on screen, dude. Not that that's a big deal for you because I'm in the wrong streaming software. So did you get your mask ready and everything?
Yeah, I did, but it doesn't matter though.
Okay, next time. Well, you didn't get back to me on time. I was gonna have you. I hit you up earlier, but you are just, man. You Australians are slow down there or something. What's going on with that?
So I'm a little bit difficult to get a hold of now. I'm just kind of busy.
Okay, well that's good, man. That's good. But you are. But next time we do it, we'll do it when I'll do it on my other one, and that way we'll get you on with your mask because that's kind of creepy. That's kind of cool in a creepy way. So everybody can hear Rational okay out there, right? Talk, Rational. Hello.
Hey, hello, mate. You there? Sorry, I was just having a little bit of a problem with my computer malfunctioning on me, but you can hear me?
Everybody can hear him. Okay, sounds good. All right, we're both of our what? No Buzz Lightyear. Okay, cool. Yeah, no Buzz Lightyear drone. Sorry about that, dude. Aussies are slow. They are a little slow, but they're cute. You know, like they're kind of like the pet. You know, not cute in a homo way. Not that being in a homo way would be bad if that's your deal. I mean, to each their own, right?
We're slow, but we're worth waiting for.
Yeah, that's right. You are slow, but worth waiting for. You guys got to be slow because you got to be looking around what's going to kill you all the time. So you got to move slow. And I get it, man. I get it.
Yep, absolutely, man. That's a secret to surviving Australia. You walk slow and make a lot of noise.
Sweet. Yeah, Drone Tech. We don't have any sound problems today because we don't have the curse of Drone Tech, man. His sound. I'm just kidding, Drone. You know I love you, but he's always, man. His system's always like, oh God, this stupid thing. And he's an IT guy, for God's sakes, man. I'm like, I'm just busting on you, dude. We really love. Calamity's into. Hello, Calamity. So glad to have you here. The notification was probably 10 minutes late because you're on the other side of the world also. So it's all good. All right, so let's jump in here. Rash, I don't know if you heard but we'll just go through it. You can read the description if you want to know what we're going to talk about, but don't worry, I'll lead you. Gun debate, man. Everyone has been raging about the whole gun debate, right? And there is a little excuse me, had steak, so I had a burp there, but I did it quietly. Everyone's been raging about the I'm trying to find my thing here, the gun debate stuff, right? And saying how we need to have universal background checks. And here's the thing I want to touch on that. What they mean by that, when they say that, is they mean, well, first off, what they say is we need universal background checks. And the reason they do that, in my assessment, in my opinion, is because they're appealing to the lowest denominator of the IQ and the people in the country when they say that, because they're appealing to the people that have never looked at a gun, never touched a gun, never been around a gun, think that the pew-pews and the bullet shooters are these terrible, evil, possessed pieces of or objects that just kill people. And we need to have background checks because we wouldn't want these evil things in the hands of people because they just can kill people, right? So they just say background checks. Most people don't understand is that we already have background checks. These people that have done this, and you can yell at me when you want to interject, but when the people that own guns or that are raging against guns, both on the left and all the little peons underneath them that listen to all this left ridiculousness, are the ones who don't understand that we already have background checks. If you go in to buy a gun, on every single state in the country, you have to have a background check to get that gun. And there's typically in some states a waiting period, right? So you can't just go into a gun store and say, hey, I'd like a gun, give me that one. And they sell it to you, give them some cash, and you walk out the back door. Every single gun has a background check. What they are saying with universal background checks is that any private party sale needs a background check. That is when they say we need to get these background checks laws passed. We need to get universal background checks, meaning anytime a gun switches hands, person to person, you need to have a background check on that. Here's my question on that. And somebody in the audience can try to Google this because I didn't have time to get the actual documents and facts on this, but I know they're out there and I've read them in the past, but you're just going to have to take my word for it. I don't lie, usually. Here's the thing. How many shootings would have been stopped is my question. How many of these shootings would have been stopped if somebody did a background check from person to person, right? The answer to the most recent shootings is none. Zero, zip, zilch. None of these background checks would have stopped what the left is raging against and saying that the right doesn't care because they're just they don't care and they're in the pocket of the NRA. It's my next point. They're in the pocket of the NRA and they don't care and how could they not care about these children that are getting killed by all these guns? None of these, what they're passing this universal that wouldn't have stopped any of them. There's not one shooting that would have happened that would have done that. We take the Adam Lanza shooting, right? I think was that the park? Was that the one up at Newtown? Adam Lanza was a Newtown shooting, right? Am I correct on that?
No, I don't know.
You don't know. That's right. You're from Australia. But I'm
pretty sorry, man.
Yeah. So this is the thing. he stole his gun out of his mom's closet or gun cabinet. He went in there, took the gun, and then went and did what bad people do: crazy, psychotropically loaded, drugged up kids do. Incel, never been laid in their life. They like to play with themselves and look at anime. Do what they did. No offense against you, Drone Tech.
Anime.
I know Drone Tech likes some anime, but not in a weird way. We know that. Yeah, Sandy Hook. You're right. Maybe that was Sandy.
How you going, Drone?
Yeah. But no, seriously, he went in and grabbed his mom's gun and went and killed people. All of these other most recent shootings, several of them actually were done with handguns, not even with AK style guns, or semi-automatic rifles. Many of them weren't even done with that. Many of them have been done with handguns, but all of these other ones, the guys purchased them legally. So what is the point of trying to pass these background check laws, right? Because they wouldn't have stopped them. And now the whole thing is the red flag laws that Trump has kind of capitulated on. And he also is capitulating on these background ones, which I'm not the first one to say this. I support Trump, but I don't support that he's capitulating on that because it doesn't make a damn difference. These things he's pushing aren't going to make a damn difference. The red flag law.
Can I just jump in?
Yes,
there for a second
you
and
may.
Those red flag laws are very concerning to me because I think all of us that are going to be in your live stream are going to be aware of the fact that the left, they don't deal in fact, they deal in emotion and feeling. So if these laws are set up in such a way that somebody can be flagged as a threat when the left consider everybody who is a conservative or who is on the right or who is a proponent of freedom as being a threat, then it is going to automatically be used by people on the left to target and try to disarm everybody on the right. And if the default position, as I understand it, I haven't actually seen the prospective legislation, but from what I've heard people saying, it seems as though if somebody makes a complaint about you or says that you're considered to be a threat or a risk, that the default is that your guns are immediately taken away, and then you have to prove that you're not a risk.
Right.
Is that right? Is that the way that it's sort of being set up?
Yeah. So, and no one knows exactly how it's being set up, but those are some of the things that are being thrown around on it. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So the difficulty with that is that people who are on the left, their default position is that we're all unhinged and we're unstable and we're Nazis and we're fascist and we're everything else. So this is basically just a means of trying to disarm the American people.
Exactly.
And I think all of us can see through that. And just a final point that I want to make on this, the left has been responsible for the killing of more people in the last 150 years than any other ideology, and they are constantly working on disarming people. I don't think that that's a coincidence.
Right. And here's the other thing on that. Here's my theory on it. They know, they're not stupid, right? These lawmakers and stuff, they understand that this isn't these aren't the reasons these people are getting killed and shot up is because of our gun laws. We have like 20-something thousand laws on the books with guns, right? Many of which aren't being enforced, so we could talk about that. But we have like plethora of laws. None of these laws are going to stop these crazy assholes from going out and killing people, and they know that. And the point of it is they want to keep saying, well, we passed this law, and we passed this law, and we passed this law, and then the shootings are going to continue to happen. And then what their next default is going to be, we've tried everything we can try. We just need to confiscate the guns. We need to get a gun registry and take all the guns away, and that's just how it's going to be. Buyback, whatever you want to call it. We've tried everything we can try. None of it works. We just need to get the guns. That's where I see their motive on that. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't really speak to the American situation, but I have a look here in Australia, where obviously we were disarmed quite some time ago, and the left obviously are very much into that. And what we're seeing here now is we have people, bad people in our society who are now using guns, and there's nobody who can stop them. And the other thing that we've seen is we've had a massive rise here. And I know this isn't directly answering your question, but it's just something that's in my head, and I think I sort of need to say, we've had a lot more violent home invasions in the last few years since we lost our guns, because people actually think, well, if there's no guns, it's like a gun-free zone in America. If I'm going to do something bad and I'm living in America, I'm not going to go to a place where there's a lot of guns. I'm going to go to a gun-free zone because I don't want to get shot in the ass.
Right.
It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So,
or the head.
So, Yeah, exactly. So, the extraction of guns, I don't see where the good isn't, and I don't see where the logic is in it from the left. That if we take away people's guns, if we take guns from good people, bad people won't get guns.
Right.
I can't see the logic in there, and that seems to be what they're fundamentally arguing for. If we take away the good people's guns, bad people won't have guns. Makes no
Right.
sense.
No, it makes no sense. Also, along when you look at all the shootings, the majority of the shootings are done by gang violence. You have 30-something thousand people a year that die from gun homicide. 15,000 of those are are not homicides, but you have 30,000 roughly gun deaths a year. 15,000 of those are suicides. Another 6,000 roughly of those are gang related violence. Right. So now you're left with, let's say, about 10,000, right, somewhere in there, and then the majority of those are done with handguns, anyways. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We have I don't know how many, we have 350 million people in the United States. I don't know exactly the number, but I want to say there's over 300 million guns in the U.S., something like that. There's no
Yes,
way.
I have seen that figure, 300 million guns, because I remember making the comment on your last stream that every Australian would have to own about 150 guns for us to have that many.
Right.
It's a crazy number.
Yeah, exactly. So
But
you think that you're just going to get rid of all these guns, and then to top it all off, you have almost a third. Let me see here. Yeah, you have almost a third of those gun deaths being done by felons and by gang members that are killing one another. And you think that they already can't have guns. Guns are already allowed. Or you take Baltimore or DC or New York or California or some of these places with the most stringent gun laws in the United States, and they still have people getting killed by guns at a higher rate than other places. So how are gun laws helping anything? How is putting more gun laws on people going to stop these killings? It isn't going to do it. The only thing that's going to do it is people not being bad people, number one, and that's probably never going to change. So why don't we actually start promoting loosening up some gun laws and promoting and pushing good common sense gun usage and practices, and stop demonizing guns and showing people the usefulness of this utility for the good people. And like you said, get rid of the goddamn free gun zones, man. Let's make the gun free zones go away. And like you said, also rational. People are breaking into houses in Australia because they know that there's no guns in there and they can get in there and get out easier. Well, if all of a sudden people had a little more, thought, took a little more pause to realize there's probably a lot more people around me with guns than I even realize that are concealed on them right now. And if I pull out and start shooting, I might get one or two or three people, but I'm going to get taken down pretty damn quick. Or these dumbasses like the one into Walmart that didn't want to die. He obviously didn't want to die. He didn't kill himself, right? He wanted to make a stance. So he would realize, oh, if I go in there, I'm going to be eating some lead. I'm going to take a, especially in Texas. I'm surprised he didn't, but I'm going to be taking some shots here, and I'm going to be taken down. And then again, I know we're rehashing points that have been just hashed hardcore for the last week, but what happened in Dayton? What happened in Dayton, Ohio? You had good guys with guns. They happened to be cops, but you had good guys with guns respond within 30 seconds to the bad guy with the gun. And he killed 9 people, which is terrible and sad, right? That's 9. But he was about ready to get inside that club with hundreds of rounds of ammunition. And think about that. We would have had another Pulse Nut. It would have been worse than the Pulse nightclub murder, right? Where 50 or whatever, how many people were killed in that. So here's the point I'm trying to make. If you have more people on the street, good people that know how to use their weapon, that have practiced using their weapon, and some douchebag with a gun comes out and starts killing people, and you have a whole bunch of people drawn down, you are going to limit the amount of carnage that can be done by that one crazy person. And you're going to start sending the message to other crazy people that, oh, you know what? I probably shouldn't do this because I'm going to die, and I'm going to die pretty quickly. And
yeah. I'm sure that for most people, if they are bad people and they want to get a gun, even in a place like Australia, I mean, our crime gangs have got guns here. If somebody wants a gun for a nefarious purpose, whether guns are legal or not, they're going to be able to find a way to get one.
Yeah, right, exactly. Michael Hodges said something good here. I want to call that out. He said, "Here's a great liberal logic for you. If you make abortions illegal, then more women will have illegal abortions. But if we make guns illegal, there won't be any illegal guns to kill." Things to make you go, yeah, that's a good point. Very good point, Michael.
Never try to understand liberal logic. It'll just it causes brain damage.
Yeah. I was reading my second point on this was I was reading some stuff where people were coming out and saying that everyone always demonizes the NRA, right? That they say, and when in regards to Trump, there was a recent thing out there saying how Lepere, whatever his name is, the head of the NRA. He has some weird, stupid French name, Lepere, whatever. It doesn't matter. He said that, after Trump came out and said he wanted to look into more background investigations and the red flag law, he said, you're going to basically lose a lot of your supporters if you do that, which he's damn straight right. That's not going to be a good move, Mr. President. You shouldn't do that. But everyone's demonizing the NRA, that they're the ones who are just this lobbyist that is controlling Trump, right? And they're in his back pocket, and or vice versa, however you want to look at it. And that the NRA is this evil organization. Well, the reason the left hates the NRA so much is because the NRA is a stopgap, man. With all the money that is donated to them and the lobbying they do on the part of the American people who believe in the Second Amendment, they are the stopgap because they have the money, right? They have the power to really make a difference in stopping these laws from being pushed on the American people. And that's exactly why people hate the NRA. That's not a super mind-blowing point, but I find it so funny that the real people that they're going after, the leftists, are the NRA, and now they're demonizing the NRA hard. And there's been all these scandals with the NRA. They're, spending way too much money, and the head of it spending too much money and all this. But at the end of the day, I don't care where they're spending their money as long as they're doing what they've been doing of keeping that stopgap and that buffer between, the left's push to take our rights away. They're the buffer, and I say all more power to them, man. You go.
Yeah, absolutely. How many registered people in the NRA have committed a mass shooting?
Oh, I think that number's around 0.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. So
yeah.
So you can see that automatically owning a gun does not equate to committing evil acts.
Yeah. And
like demonizing the NRA when the NRA has got an impeccable record of not engaging in nefarious activity is just so typically Orwellian left.
Yep.
That inversion of reality.
Yeah. Did you guys see the signs from the Hong Kong protesters saying we need the Second Amendment? We need a Second Amendment. They were saying that in Hong Kong because look what the authoritarian government of China is doing to the people in Hong Kong, right? They're coming in there and smashing the protests, and they're trying to authoritarianly just crack down on the people in Hong Kong, and they're saying we wish we had a gun. And all these turds, man. I got into a debate with this leftist moron on Twitter, which I don't normally do because it's so pointless and I don't have enough energy in my mind to do it. But I trolled her a little bit. I just was trolling with her and just pushing her buttons just because I wanted to just spin her up, and it did. It was kind of fun. But, she basically was saying, what are your guns even going to do if the government wants to come and take them? You're going to have your gun, your little, guns against these. And then she put a picture of the Navy SEALs and tanks and whatnot. And I'm like, well, of course. Yeah, no, you're right. They definitely have more artillery than we do, for sure. But as we have seen with just regular protests in France and all, the uprising in the Middle East, right? The Arab Springs and so on and so forth. When you have a group of people throwing rocks all in the same direction and throwing Molotov cocktails in the same direction and rising up against their government without guns, they make a difference. Now imagine that again with people who are well trained, many of them ex-military patriots that would, if it came to that, would riot, would be rioting and be doing, it would turn into horrible. It would turn into like guerrilla warfare, which I don't think it will ever do that. And I pray to God it never does that. But there is a big difference we could make with our guns, right? There's a big difference we could do against pushing back against our government, because think about this. As big and badass as our military is, we still outnumber them. And if you had enough people, right, and then you got to also think about this: how many people in the military are actually going to go along with it if it came to that? They're going to actually. They're not. They're gonna totally, go AWOL and say, no, I'm not going to be part of this, and they're going to join the resistance. So that's one thing that people never really seem to fully grasp, is that the government's power is only limited to their ability to get people to enforce their power. Like the government in and of themselves is like 100 or 200 people
parliamentarian offices, around whatever nation state you're talking about. They're a very small group of people. They only have the power that is afforded to them by others, and that is the people that generally will have, the military strength or the police and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're trying to do something that is incredibly unpopular in countries where people expect liberty and freedom to be upheld, like America, Australia, the United Kingdom, then a lot of the people who were there to enforce those laws, they might go along with it initially, but at some point they're going to go, no, hang on a minute.
Right.
We don't actually side with this, and we're going to
Right.
walk away. And we have seen that. That's happened here in Australia, where a government here in Australia wanted the police to engage in a particular activity, and the police said, no, we're not doing it, and they went on strike.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the kind of thing that can happen. If you, like Westerners, we expect liberty as a default position because that's what we've had for so long. We don't really know what it's like to live without it. We're starting to find out now, and it's not pleasant. And I think a lot of people are going to start saying, no, hang on a minute, we don't want to go down this path.
Right.
And you'll find people in the police and in the army or National Guard in the US who are going to say, no, we'll side with the people and we'll side with liberty. And that will be an interesting thing, because that is when you get into the legitimate realm of civil war.
Yes.
When that happens.
Yep. No, I know. So it's like it is something that we need to keep. We need to keep, and I don't see any. I don't see any. I believe we will. We need to keep strong to our message and just on point, because the funny part about it is our logic on this subject doesn't matter how many shootings happen. Our logic is the sound logic, and is the sound, firm foundation and logic, no matter what the leftists and the media pundits and the politicians and all these other people say. They are the ones who have broken logic on this, and that's why they have to just spit rhetoric and spit fear, because what we're saying logically makes sense, and we need to continue to stand firm on that and not be weakened by it. And that's why I was disappointed, as many other conservatives were, with what Trump did. I mean, I get it. I kind of get where he came out and he felt like he needed to say something to kind of maybe appease the left or a little bit. I kind of get it, I guess, but I'm still disappointed in it, because you'll never, ever, ever, he could never appease the left, no matter how hard it's one of my points we're going to get to later. He can't do anything right. There's nothing he could ever do that's going to have anybody on the left say, well, that was good that President Trump said that. They'll always, every single time, find a way to spin it and make it out that he is a racist asshole, misogynistic, fascist piece of shit that needs to, go away and die. That's always how they're... Go ahead.
That is one thing that us as conservatives have got to actually get settled in our head. There is no compromising with the left, because the left won't compromise with us. We would compromise with them, and we try to, but they're not interested in that. So anytime that you give them something, they always want more, and they're still going to demonize, hate, and attack you anyway. So we need to actually say, no, we have principles that we adhere to, and we will adhere to those principles, and stop apologizing for having these ideas that we believe in that they don't agree with. Because look, it's fine for people to disagree. I don't care about if people disagree with me. What I care about is when people try to impose their belief that I disagree with on me. And I think that's where this left-right divide is working against us all the time, because we are fundamentally reasonable people. We aren't seeking to force you to live under our regime. We just want to be able to have people live together, and we can disagree, but we can all agree to disagree and get along. The left, they just can't have that kind of a concept in their head.
Right.
So I think, that is a problem. And Trump has really put his foot in it with this idea of the red flag law. He's kind of made me look at him a bit askance. And, I'm Australian, so we don't have guns. So we have a different perspective of guns than you guys. Mm-hmm. But even I can see that that's just bad.
Yeah.
What he's looking at here is bad. So, I can understand why a lot of the conservatives that I follow in the US have had negative things to say about this, comment by Trump. Hopefully it's just a brain fart. Hopefully he'll walk it back.
He will. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, I hope so.
But yeah, I do too. I'm just going to throw this out. I'm going to 2 more points, then we're going to move to the next little segment here. Number one, I was reading some of your guys' chats here about how many days you have here in Oregon. You have usually the background check for me takes an hour or 2. The last 2 times at a gun show, I've had to pick it up the next day. But typically we can walk in within an hour or 2. You get your gun and walk out. You're good. But no, every single state in the union has a background check to buy a weapon. and some vary, I think, between the ages of when you can buy a handgun between 18 and 21. I think most of them are 21. You can buy a rifle when you're 18, but yeah, it's you. Everybody needs a background check, and opposed to, and even here in Oregon, you have to technically, you are supposed to, I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe if this isn't the case now, it's what they're trying to push right now, Oregon wise, is that you're supposed to have a background check when you sell a gun privately already. I think in Oregon, that's the way it is. Don't 100% quote me on that, but I know they're pushing for that. But
that's not unreasonable. You don't want people buying guns and then selling them to nutters via the back door. So
yeah,
that to me, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable to have background checks. I think so too. The other point that I want to make that I made last night too is you put all the 10 people in here watching, whatever it is, put this in your mind and make sure you use this, because I find it so powerful and it's hardly ever talked about. There is the CDC did a report several years ago that they estimate at somewhere around 1 million people a year are saved from defensive gun uses. 1 million people a year are saved from defensive gun uses. So we need to keep that in our mind when we're talking to these people. And the FBI did a study on it, I believe it was the FBI, that had that number at somewhere around 500,000. So it's a little skewed, because when they say defensive use, that doesn't just mean somebody got shot. It means a gun was brandished by a good guy that made a bad guy go away, or a gun was pointed at him that made a good. And so some of that numbers are a little bit foggy, but it's somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million people a year's lives are saved from the defensive use of a gun. So I think that should be the end of it right there. That's like the one point I think that's just kind of like should stop everything, but it doesn't.
I wonder how often CNN mentions that statistic. Never?
Never. I've never ever heard of him. Yeah, I've never heard him. I heard it from Steven Crowder for the first time, and then I started researching it, and I was like, wow, that is a pretty powerful fact. So, okay, switching gears. The racist white supremacist trope that, slogan stuff that's been going on with Trump, how they've been every single person. So I have a little list here of a few, not everyone, but you have Obama, you have Beto O'Rourke, you have Kamala Harris, you have Joe Biden, you have AOC, you have Ilhan Omar, you have Rashid Tlaib, you have Warren, Elizabeth Warren, you have Erica Presley, Schumer, Pelosi, Don Lemon, Jake Tapper, Chris Cuomo, Brian Stetler, Bernie Sanders, Cory Booker, Trevor Noah, Stephen Colbert, Representative Cummings, Bill Maher, the Young Turds, Sadar, Pac-Man, David Pacman, just to name a few. You have all of these people on the left, right, that are just, and then all of their followers, all of the left, all the people on Twitter and on Facebook and on YouTube, all these, the leftist Democrats are just parroting this racist white supremacist, right? They just keep parroting that and saying that Trump is a racist and a white supremacist. To me, luckily, that word has lost a lot of its power because of the left. So it's become very watered down. But what is the proof on this? They are literally calling somebody a white supremacist, somebody who hates anybody else that is not of the white race, right? That wants them dead, that wants them lynched up in a tree, that thinks they're less than human, that thinks all these terrible things about various races if they're not white. They're claiming that Trump, and then by default the new round of it. The new round is all the supporters of Trump are now also white supremacist racists. They've thrown this around sporadically for years, right? But now they are going deep. They are just going into the paint on this one, hard to the paint on this one. They're going balls deep on this one when it comes to everybody who supports Trump. You are a white supremacist and a racist, and Trump is a white supremacist and a racist. And to me,
I think that was Drone Tech's last video, wasn't it? Where he was looking at MSNBC, basically making that claim. It's just, and it is such an absurd claim. I mean, as we've all talked about, I mean, they called Andy Ngo a white supremacist and he's Asian, and they called Candace Owens a white supremacist and she's black. There is no logic to the argument, as we're all well and truly aware. It's how, like, I mean, you look at that movie that's come out now called, is it The Hunt?
Yeah, The Hunt.
Where where the liberals are going out and hunting down and killing deplorables. And I'll look at that and I think that's actually a good thing. A lot of people on the conservative right are kind of going off about it, and I can understand why they're doing it. But I actually look at this a different way. There's too many people on the left who are complacent with just accepting that all of us who value freedom are racist and xenophobes and all this other stuff.
Right.
And it's that slow boil, that these people are being whipped up more and more. It's like 1930s Germany, early 1930s Germany, with a rhetoric against the Jew is now being used against the white people. Let these people go full retard. Let them actually, like, we should be encouraging this movie to be pushed to the forefront of the sort of the discussion at the moment, because this is a great thing, because this is people saying this is how we think about people on the right and people and the conservative people, and it is far too much for the average person on the left to be able to stomach.
Yeah.
Right. So, do you know what I mean? So, like, it's a dangerous thing that they're doing, and it's going to whip people up. And, the left talk about dog whistles. Well, I mean, that's not even a dog whistle. That's just a whistle. Everybody can hear it.
That's a megaphone. That's a thing. That's like a straight megaphone.
Exactly. But the thing is, because people can hear it, people on the left who are being slowly drawn in by the Pied Piper into the all whites are racist, everyone who supports Trump is a Nazi, they're going to look at that and go, whoa, that's a bit too much, because a lot of them aren't looking to the end goal 5 years down the track where this rhetoric ends. But this kind of thing is showing them where it ends.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I think there is value in allowing our mates in Hollywood and that kind of thing to come out with this stuff, because it's going to red pill far more people than you or me or Drone Tech or Candace Owens or Trump or Ben Shapiro or whatever speaking out against this white supremacist rhetoric is going to do. Yeah. It's their own insanity that is going to lead people away from the left. That's my thinking anyway.
No, you're right. But the as rabid as they have become now, it's almost to the point where I would hope that they would think that. I hope that they would see that. I hope that they would it would be the sounding alarm that goes off in their mind, that they would say, yeah, no, this is terrible. We've gone too far. But I almost feel like it would just foment them more, because they are when I get into these, when I look on the get into the other bubble, because I have to admit, a lot of the people I follow, it's the bubble I listen to, but I also follow other people that are on the left, right, just to hear what they're saying. And they are so convinced that Trump is truly a racist, and all the supporters behind him are racist also, to where we're really kind of like that series I talked about, or I did on, the 9 pillars, the 8 pillars to dehumanization, right?
Yep.
That is what's happening right now with the left. They are hardcore going after conservatives to the point where we're completely being dehumanized and turned into animals, to where it's okay if you kill them. It's really okay if you kill them. And then they have enough nerve to say that we're doing that to the left. We're the ones dehumanizing. There's so much projection going on. It's unbelievable. And the fact that they can't see it is mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling to me. And
well, I mean, the people that are on that radical fringe are already lost in that sense. I mean, some of them can come back from there, but most of them aren't. But it's the majority of people still live within the bell part of the bell curve of political ideology, right? And they are the ones who are on the left, who are still in the bell part of the bell curve, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So where the majority of them are, they are still reachable. So if the fringe part of the left and the radicals on the left and in Hollywood and things like that are allowed to openly and blatantly demonize and attack us and call for us to be wiped out, a lot of them are going to say, well, that's too much. And the fringes won't. The fringe people, they're going to be happy with that. I'm sure that Anna Navarro kind of, has a little bit of a fun time with herself as she watches that movie, and that's fine. But those people are going to be like that. They are beyond redemption in that sense. We're not getting them back. It's the people in the middle that we want to aim for. So let the left go. Let them go as hard and as rabid and as radical as they want, because it's the people in the middle, the silent people, not the people that are on the internet, who are on Twitter, who are doing the hashtag massacre McConnell or whatever it was that they had going. Right. They're already too far gone. It's the mainstream leftists that we want to appeal to. We need to win as many of them as we can.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be the ones that win them. It won't be our voices that win them. It'll be the radicals and their own team that are going to win them over.
But here's the funny part about all that is the proof. Like, they have no proof of any of this, right? They say Trump, but what is their proof? And then I've asked people this. Okay, so Trump's a racist.
Charlottesville.
Yeah, right, exactly. They're very good
So
people
their
on
proof
both
is
sides.
based on lies.
Right, right. It's a total lie. They say, well, he said that there was very good people on both sides. Yeah, it's a total lie. That and it's just anybody can Google it. You can YouTube that and watch it for 5 minutes, and you see that it's a complete lie. But this shows you how ignorant and stupid, or willfully ignorant, and completely disingenuous people are who push this, because you can watch the clip and realize he is not saying there's good people on both sides. He would, in essence, be saying there was good people in the KKK and there was good people in the Antifa. And of course, both of those extremes, you wouldn't see good people in any one of those. They're both total trash, right? And so he was obviously, and he clearly said it. He clearly said, I'm not talking about the white supremacists and white nationalists. I'm talking about the good people that came there, the moderate people, the people that wanted the statue to stay because it was their history, and because even if they don't support General or Lee and what he did, they support the idea that this is a monument. You can't have leftists coming in and rewriting history. We want the statue to stay. So there was good people on both sides. It wasn't that's the one thing they go with, right? The other thing they go with is, Mexicans are racists, rapists, and murderers, right? And he says Trump called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said these immigrants are rapists and murderers. No, he didn't. He was talking about MS-13. And so I'll say this to him. They're like, no, that's not true. That's not what he meant. That's not what I'm like, that's exactly what he meant. That's exactly what he said. And they have no cognizance. They have no realization that Trump has. How about, to prove he isn't isn't a racist? How about prison reform, right? And how about all the work he's done to lessen crimes for or sentences for people with low offending, low drug offenses and things like that. A great majority of those were black people and brown people and people of color that he did that for in prison. What about that? What about the lowest black unemployment, right? What about that? What about how there's the lowest black unemployment the nation has ever seen under Trump's leadership? Would a racist do that, or would a racist put these people of color? Would he be helping them out if he hated black people?
Yeah, again, this is that Orwellian insanity thing. Like, a racist person would create the three strikes law that's used in the United States to, at a statistically significantly higher level, incarcerate black people for longer periods of time. Well, who put that law in place? That was Bill Clinton. And who's the guy who's trying to undo that? It's Donald Trump.
Right.
So it's insane. Like, I know I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it on your stream before, but I have said this before. One day there's going to be an awakening, or well, hopefully anyway, there's going to be an awakening within black people in the United States, and they're going to look at the Democrat Party and realize they are still the party of the KKK. They are still the party of the indentured black.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a bad day to be a Democrat. You have a look at Baltimore and Cummings, and the way that just the contempt that black people are treated with the United States.
Yeah.
Like, they call me a racist, but it breaks your heart to see people living like that.
Yeah,
it's a hideous thing. No human being who's reasonable or moral wants anybody to live like that. But Cummings and the Democrats, they don't give a toss about these people.
People don't even live that bad in Australia.
No. Bastard.
Close, but not that bad. Just kidding.
We have to have reasonably good homes around here, because you can't have too much clutter, because if you have clutter, you have all these animals that want you dead.
Yeah.
We have to keep things clean.
They at least clean their houses. Yeah. Do you guys have rats that can kill you down there? I wonder. Do you have big rats, or are they normal sized rats? I would have mentioned.
No. I've seen some reasonably, I've seen some impressive sized rats around here. They're not sort of knee height, but
do you have any ROUSs, rodents of unusual size? That's an old Princess Bride reference for anybody who knows or cares.
Oh, I love that movie, but I can't remember that line.
You don't remember rodents of unusual size in the forest? He's like, they have the ROUSs in there. What are ROUSs? The rodents of unusual size.
I haven't watched that movie for about 20 years. I'll have to go back and have a look. I love that movie.
That movie is so great, man. That's when movies were freaking great, man. They didn't have all this social justice BS just littered in them. You can't watch a show anymore without some total social justice agenda being pushed in them. It drives me freaking crazy. Netflix sucks too. All the Netflix originals, even though some of them are okay, most of them are it's just an indoctrination show is all it is of the left agenda. It's like so freaking terrible. It drives me crazy.
I remember watching a show just briefly on Netflix, and I watched the first couple of episodes, and I'm like, oh, this seems unusually okay. And then I started watching the third episode, and all of a sudden it just breaks out into this bisexual orgy in a pool. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably about the last thing I watched on Netflix. I gave up on it then. It's extremely rare that I watch any TV now because it's just unpleasant propaganda.
Yeah,
I lived without a TV for a few years because I was a hippie.
Yeah.
And when I
you were better for
sort of a hippie, and when I got back into watching TV, and this is in the 90s I'm talking about, and I could see just how far the world had progressed in terms of this, sexual liberation, which was really just the sexual perversion thing. This has been happening to us for a hell of a long time.
Yeah.
This pushing of an agenda that none of us wanted.
I wanted to make one more point on this whole getting back over to the not to cut you off, but to get back on this thing. Another thing that I want you guys to put in your mind as a tool to combat this BS is another point that proves Trump isn't racist, right? That just shows how unracist he is his non-PC and non-respecters of persons. He is so non-PC. He doesn't care about political correctness. He doesn't care about the color of your skin. If you piss him off, if you hurt his ego, if you do anything that he deems worth a retaliation, which we could talk if that's good or bad, but if he's going to tell you, he doesn't care what color your skin is. He's going to tell you, like he did with Elijah Cummings, right? That you have this infested, your city's infested with rats and rodents, right? He does that. To me, shows a lack of racism. And then you have the left saying, how dare he say that? He can't say that about black people and a black representative that runs that. It's so racist. Really? No, actually, you're more racist for saying he can't say that just because somebody's black. Are you saying they can't take it? He didn't attack the person's skin color. He said, your place is a piece of shit and you need to clean it up. Pardon my French.
Yeah. Yeah. What they're basically saying is that you can't hold people of color to the same standard as white people, because white people are superior to black people,
right,
or colored people. And that is just outright racism. I don't care what color you are.
Mm-hmm.
I expect you to behave like a human being.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, that might be an extreme position to take, but I think it's a fairly reasonable extreme position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sort of speaking Aussie sarcasm there. Everybody can be held to the same standard, and everybody should be held to the same standard. We shouldn't have one standard for one group of people and then an entirely lower standard for everybody else, or no standard, as it happens to be in the US, because you can't criticize someone if they're black, if you're white. I mean, it's an absurd, and it's dangerous. And again, you come back to the situation with Cummings where he lives, him being held unaccountable for the corruption and everything that goes on there has led to a situation where they have, rodents running around. I think there's a couple of places in America where the plague has made a comeback. Is that right?
Yeah. It's making a comeback down on the I think in San Francisco and California, and that in somewhere in there, there's some talk about that they've had the bubonic plague or whatever. Making a comeback.
Plague.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
That's the kind of thing that you want.
Exactly.
We can't say anything about this guy because of his skin color, so we just have to let people die of the bubonic plague.
Yeah.
I'd rather be called a racist than actually call out the insanity.
Yeah.
And say, how about we fix this place up?
Right. And as like that one Trump supporter, and he got hammered for it and said it was fake. The Trump supporter that went down there and actually helped clean up the city. Yep. And you have these residents down there that were like, thank you. This is so awesome. Thank you for doing this. And that they were giving shouts out to Trump, right, for it. And that just totally roasted the toasties of the leftists, because they were like, damn it. These racists just put their money where their mouth was and helped out when none of these other libtards did it. None of these other libturds did it either, going down and clean up the city. And so this dude went and said, I'm going to go help clean up some areas. To me, it's just like, they're just losing. I just love it when they lose and their hypocrisy is exposed. And as we talk about this, and they talk about his rhetoric. They say, Donald Trump's rhetoric. His rhetoric is causing these white supremacists to rise up. Him flying the flag until 8/8 was a hail to Hitler, and he's dog whistling and so on and so forth. He's causing this division. He's causing so much division and white supremacy to make racism to make this comeback. Whose rhetoric is being dangerous? Whose rhetoric is divisive? Whose rhetoric is causing more tension and damage? Is it the things that Donald Trump calls out, or is it that the left and all the media and all the mainstream media that's behind it is constantly putting that out there for the low IQ people or the ignorant? I don't even have to say they're low IQ, but the ignorant people that don't really do the research to say, yeah, he is racist. And then all of a sudden you find yourself a normal person walking down the street, and you walk past a black person or a Mexican, and you're like, I wonder what that person, like, I've caught myself thinking this. I wonder what that person thinks of me. I wonder if that person thinks I'm like this total raging racist because I'm a white dude, and all of a sudden it just foments. They're the ones fomenting the freaking racism.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit different for me because I can, if I want, I can pass myself off. Well, I can even pass myself off as being Arabic if I wanted to. But I just have to not shave for a week. But I can pass myself off as being an Indigenous Australian. So I get to see the oddity of the situation that we're in now, where the white people are called the racist, and the white people are privileged and that kind of thing. But it would be to my advantage in Australia to claim my Indigenous heritage, but I never would, because I don't want the privilege of being disadvantaged.
Yeah.
It's just, it is bizarre. And yes, and we do have this problem now, I think, where, a lot of, unfortunately, there are far too many people now who do see white people as being racist by default.
Yeah.
And that is a problem that is going to get worse and worse, I think. I can't see it getting better.
Yeah, agreed. Kind of moving on to the next point, kind of goes with this last point. It'll be kind of a quicker point, but Trump's visit to El Paso and Dayton, I found it so hilarious because, he could not be, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. You can't make the left happy. He can do nothing right in this scenario, right? So he goes down to El Paso, and they say it was fake, right? It was just this fake trip down there. He didn't really care about the people. It was just a campaign photo opportunity for him. He talked about how big his rally was. People were there when he was there. And then how he's not welcome. He's not welcome. So let's flip that around and say, so what would have happened if he didn't go? They would have been saying, he could at least act like he cares. He doesn't even take the time to go down there. He should have at least reached out and came down here, right? That's exactly what would have happened if he didn't go. They would have said what a jerk he was that he didn't go. He goes, and they say it's fake and he shouldn't go. It's like you leftist Democrat. I don't want to swear too much on this. Or whatever. Muppets need to pull your head out of your arses, man. Get them out of your poop chute and start thinking logically about this, because he is at least doing what he should be doing as a president. And to say he doesn't care, what a bunch of bullshit that is, to say he doesn't care about people dying. Do you really think he's that much of a total asshole that he just doesn't care that this many people were shot up by some complete and total loon? It just blows my mind, man. Blows my mind to see what we're seeing playing out in front of us.
And if it had been Obama or Hillary that had gone there, they would have been banging on about how they were really strong and they were showing great leadership and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. There is absolutely no lack of bias in the media. That is just so obvious. I don't know how people don't see it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on to another one here, getting away from all that stuff. That was a good segment there. I felt really strong about that. Felt like that was well played, well done.
Yep. The flow's working tonight.
Yeah, it is. The flow is working tonight. You want to know why? It's because I actually took an hour or two when I got home to jot out a few things that I wanted to talk about, and I feel like that kind of helped instead of just going off whatever.
You're going professional on us, dude. That's
I know, right? I don't want to get it. I don't want to get it too professional, but so I think this is the one. Here's this. Okay, so I'm kind of shocked that this isn't all over the news. Let me pull this up here, and Rational. What I'm gonna. You won't be able to hear it, but I'm gonna play a little video, and I'll tell you when it's done. But you'll probably know about the stabbing in California. So I am shocked that we don't see this all over the news. Do you guys realize that just in this last couple days there was a stabbing spree in California where a Hispanic, which they don't say Hispanic, but you can tell because his last name is Hispanic, and he was married to some Rodriguez was the last name, and Castana, whatever it was, but he was a Hispanic male. Went on a rampage of just killing people, and this was a thug piece of crap that had been in and out of jail, had violent encounters, domestic. He broke his wife or his girlfriend, his wife I think's arm. He threw a beer at his daughter one time, cracked her in the head with it. He had stabbed people, been in and out of jail. He was out on bail when he went on a stabbing spree and killed 4 people and wounded a whole bunch of other people. And for 6 hours in California, he killed 4 people and was on a stabbing spree for 6 hours. And what can you imagine if this scenario was flip-flopped and the guy didn't use a knife, but he used a gun? Let's watch this video though real quick.
Just before you do that, you need to start a bit of a hashtag trend about knives taking lives and buy back knives and things like that. Just mimic what the right does. Mimic what the left does with guns.
Yeah.
See if you can get it trending.
Yeah. Nobody follows me on that stuff. I got like 30 followers on Twitter, and I can't gain a follower for the life of me, but I don't know. I could be terrible, and that's why. But all right, let's watch this real quick. This is the scene after a man went on a stabbing spree in California.
He stabbed him right here, and he shanked him right through his nose.
He stabbed him right here, and he that was hilarious. The guy goes, he stabbed him right here, man, and then he shanked him in the nose. It was like, oh my gosh. This Hispanic dude was telling how he did it. Okay, carrying on. The suspect killed 4 people and wounded 2. I'm reading some subtitles there for you. The attack lasted nearly 2 hours and targeted 6 locations. 2 people were killed at this apartment complex. I know you guys can read, but I'm reading for Rational. He also robbed 2 stores before going to the petrol station.
We have no motive at this.
We actually call that a gas station here in the right side of the world. It's not petrol, it's gas, just so you know. Says we have no motive at this point.
We don't know. It's just
we don't know.
Hate.
It's just pure hate. This guy did this.
I got to give it a hand.
I got to give him a hand to the public.
A lot of citizens came forward.
And
rendered aid to the guy with his nose that was nearly cut off.
The detective is saying, for rational sake, the detective said a lot of people came and rendered help to the dude who almost got his nose cut off. I'm not laughing because he got a nose cut off. It's just kind of funny the way he said it.
They were willing to come forward to help the police department, give us information that was crucial in getting this guy identified.
Yeah. The suspect has been taken into custody, and that's it. So, yeah. So, as you guys watched that video and saw, how is this not national news? 4 people were killed. And again, I'll say, like I just said, I'll say it again. If somebody had done that with a gun, then there would have been a complete and total, just absolute shitstorm over it. There would have been people losing their mind that another shooting had happened, right? And but no, they're not talking about that because it was a knife. It doesn't fit the narrative. You know all about this where you're at, right? Knife attacks over in the UK. Do you have knife attacks in Australia much?
No, not really. I mean, well, we probably do, but you just don't really hear about it. But we certainly have had a certain demographic here that's been running around with machetes and breaking into people's homes and engaging in threatening activity. But we haven't had too many people, stabbed or machete to death, to my knowledge. So but certainly they are used as a means to threaten people.
Right. Yeah, Michael Hodges said, what we need is common sense knife control. We don't need these fully automatic assault knives.
Background checks before you're allowed to buy a butter knife.
That's happening. We laugh about it, but that's what's basically happening in the UK, right? Yeah, they're outlawing sharp knives in the UK. You can't even go and buy a knife in the UK.
Not just knives, because I spend a lot of time sort of following things that are going on in the UK. People have actually been detained and had potato peelers taken off them. I would love to see somebody. No, actually, I'll take that back. I wouldn't like to see someone kill someone with a potato peeler. But
it wouldn't be that hard,
seriously,
though.
Is a potato peeler a weapon that people use to kill people? It's
well, you could shank them like the one dude said on this video. You could shank him, man. He's like he came over, man, and he shanked him, man. He cut his nose off, and he's like, you could shank him, dude. They killed people in prison with far less, man. A sharpened toothbrush can kill somebody.
Toothbrush.
Right.
Yep.
But I'm just waiting, though. I just think the news media hasn't caught on to this. So I'm waiting for the coverage to really take off on this one. I'm waiting for the celebrities and the pundits to come out and, decry this and even say that it's Trump's fault for making this Hispanic guy mad, that he had to go out and kill white people, right? And he had to go out and kill a bunch of people. And then I'm like, we've talked about, I'm waiting for the legislation to be put forth for knife control.
Yeah, I assume you're using a little bit of Aussie sarcasm there. I couldn't imagine that the media would be going to talk about it because he wasn't a white guy.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Although funnily enough, we actually did get that story on our news here, and as I looked at it, I actually sort of verbalized, I wonder why we're getting that story. Like, what's the point of that? Because our media here are very much on the left, so our mainstream media here is just a little bit more sane than CNN as a rule. And I was surprised that it actually came up on one of our major news feeds. And again, I rarely watch the news because it makes me angry, but I was just watching this little portion of the news, and I thought, that is a really unusual story for the media to show this knife crime, because it doesn't fit the narrative. Like, I think there's been about 60 mass shootings in the US this year, and about 21 of them are by white people, and we've probably heard about 9 of them here in Australia, but we haven't heard about any of the other ones at all.
Right.
And then all of a sudden there's this knife crime where a guy, has killed 4 people, which sort of fits into that mass shooting. I think if you kill 4 people or more, that's considered a mass shooting. So this is a mass stabbing event, but why would it actually be picked up by the media and running with it? It doesn't seem to fit the narrative. It's a bit of a discordant note.
Right.
So I would assume that the media would be quiet about it. So I'm guessing that's what's happening in the US. They're not talking about it.
Yeah. No, that is kind of what it is. They're definitely not talking about it as much because it doesn't fit their narrative, doesn't fit their narrative.
Yep.
So, and then we had one of the next things, switching gears again, is these Mississippi raids that happen, right? Mississippi raid, that'd be a good song to write too. Isn't there an old country or an old? I can't think of it right now, but there's something. Is it CCR? Somebody said does a song with Mississippi something in it. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway,
no, country music's not my thing, mate. So
it's not country, dude. I think it's like CCR. It's like old classic rock. I just can't think.
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yeah, something Mississippi. I can't think of the song right now, but I know it's a thing. Anyway, so in Mississippi, there was 680 people that were arrested. Did you hear about this, Rational? 600 people. They raided a meat factory in Mississippi and arrested 680 illegals last night.
Well, I hadn't heard the specifics. I didn't know where they were from, but yes, I knew there had been some mass arrests of illegals in the US.
Yeah,
so that's a good thing from my perspective, anyway.
It is, but the thing that media doesn't, or they're not really reporting on, they're just saying 680 people were arrested, families torn apart, kids crying. It's this terrible, what evil, going back to the racist thing he's doing. Kind of disappointing thing is 300 of them have already been released with dates to show back up for their deportation hearings. So they arrested 680 and then they released 300 of them with a date to come back and show up. I'm just stepping out on a limb here, but I'm going to say those 300 people aren't going to show back up. I'm just kind of taking a stab at the dark here, no pun intended.
Are you accusing these illegal aliens of being lawbreakers?
A little bit. I'm saying
how racist of you.
I'm saying, how the hell do you arrest 680 illegal people right here in the nation, and then the next day, within hours, release half of them? Basically, just release them again. It's like, that's another one where I'm like, what are we doing here, man? And that the privacy records on these illegals is under gag. They can't. A lot of these illegals that were arrested too, they like the ones they kept. I think like 380 or whatever that they kept, then they didn't release. They are not these perfect law-abiding little citizens. A lot of them have criminal records and have been arrested before, and are like not necessarily great people, but they can't release their records. They're not allowed to release the records on these people from some gag order on some law. I don't know what, can't think of it right now, but there's a law that keeps these records gagged from being released to the public of what these records on these people were. And I think, again, kind of going back to something that's a little disappointing, if I'm being totally honest on this, Mississippi Queen, you're right, Michael Hodgett. Mississippi Queen is a song I was thinking about. You're very, very true on that. Anyways, the thing that's a little disappointing about that is the fact that the executive branch could release those records. Trump, with a swap of his pen, could, or swipe, not swap, a swipe of his pen could release those records, and he hasn't done it, which is a little frustrating, if I'm being honest. It's like, why wouldn't you release this out to the people to help shut up all this left lingo that all these law-abiding illegals that are here, that are just good people and don't, they're breaking the law being here, but they're just really good patriotic people in essence that want to just live their lives and be good citizens. No, they're criminals. They're not just criminals being here illegally. They're criminals that have been breaking laws when they're here. And we can't release those records? What is up with that? That makes no sense to me.
No, that doesn't make sense. I mean, there's a good cause for releasing that information. I mean, most of the media probably wouldn't pick it up anyway, but the reality is that it could be used to change public perception. If you know that there are people in that 300 who are, have been arrested for, I don't know, say wife beating or, other major violent activities or, robbing people or whatever the case may be, the media are going to have a very hard time sort of swinging that to be able to say that these people should be set free.
Right.
So I can't understand that. Donald Trump is doing things that are starting to concern me a little, I have to admit. And things that he's not doing are concerning me.
Yeah, so no, I want to respond to Michael Hodges. He said, so what you are saying is what Trump wrong about the ones coming over here? No, I'm not saying that he's wrong about the ones that are coming over here legally. No, he's right about that. What I'm saying is when he arrests these people, right, that are here illegally, he needs to fire this guy named Kevin McCleenan, who is the one who oversees this. But it's under the executive branch whether he could release the records, the criminal records on these people that they detain, and that is not being released. Now, people are right; it probably wouldn't change much minds on the Dems. They'd find a way to spin it or not cover it. But it's a little disappointing, if I'm being honest, that he's not like, yeah, now that we've got these people, let's release their records so we can at least show Kevin OK. Sorry, yeah. Did I say McClan? Yeah, Kevin OK. He needs to release these records, man. I feel like that's something he should do. He should release the records. And when, you know what, here's the thing. Yes, I support Trump, everybody that's listening to this. Absolutely, I support Trump, man. But that doesn't mean we can't also say, some of the things he's doing are a little disappointing, and hey, can you change these? They aren't deal breakers for me. It's not like I'm turning on him or I'm not going to vote for him this next round. But it's like, hey, let's give him, we're his supporters, right? He needs to hear from us. Let's raise our voice and say, okay, you're doing a great job in all these areas, but here's some areas like, no, universal background checks, not a good idea. Red flag laws, not a good idea. Hey, release these records, man. Pull the strings to get these records released. I think that's all good, to do.
Well, it's one of the fundamental principles of any healthy democratic society is that people are free to speak, and we need to be free to disagree with the people who broadly we agree with. We don't want to go down the leftist thing where you need to be sort of plugged into the Borg. That doesn't work well for anybody.
Right.
So that again, that freedom means the freedom to disagree with the people you agree with.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sure you and I would find points where we disagree, and that's healthy. We should be able to talk about those things, and who knows, we might change each other's mind.
Right.
Or we might just agree to disagree, but we need to be able to actually do that. We have to get rid of this thing of you have to agree with your people on everything.
Because it's identity politics again. It's a version, or it's a form of identity politics that's then being played on both sides. I totally agree with you.
Groupthink never works.
Right. And if we disagreed on something, I would just finally bring you around to understanding you were wrong and you need to agree with me.
Yeah, of course you would, mate.
Oh man. Okay, so here we're starting to get to the end. Then we'll open it up for some questions and comments. But we're going to end on a lighter note tonight.
What's the octopus on the head thing, dude?
Oh man, I'm gonna read this one. I think because I'm gonna read this so you'll be able to take it. You'll be able to appreciate this too because it isn't a video. Okay, so you didn't hear about this. This is good stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll back up here. We're gonna read this little ditty. It's funny, man. Posing with an octopus on the face sends Washington woman to the hospital. Oh, it's so great. A Washington woman hoping an octopus on the face would make for a prize-winning photo, instead wound up with something she never expected, a face full of pain and a trip to the hospital. Jamie Biseglia, we'll just call her Jamie B. Jamie B told Fox News on Wednesday that she was participating in a fishing derby in the South Sound near Tacoma Narrows Bridge last Friday when a group of men in the competition snagged an octopus. Jamie, 45, of Fox Island on Wednesday recalled asking the men for the juvenile Pacific octopus they'd snagged, saying, "I'd like to eat it for dinner." That's what they do in Australia. She also asked the men to take a photo of her with this sea creature. It's right there. You're going to have to go back and watch this later. She also asked the men to take a photo of her with this sea creature, intending to enter the snap in the Derby's photo contest. It's soft, it's squishy, it doesn't feel like it can hurt you. So, what are you going to do? I'll put it on my face. I mean, that sounds like a normal thing to do. And at first it wasn't so bad, she said. The tentacles were squirming in my ear, my nose. It was just playing with me on my face, she said. Getting attached to her, literally. And then all of a sudden, its beak entered my chin, and my eyes popped open wide, and they could all see that I was actually getting attacked. And the photos are taken at the moment it was attacking me. It's like she looks like she's smiling, but it's just she's screaming pretty much in pain at this point. The sensation was vivid and unforgettable. I said, "Oh my gosh," she said. "When it bites you, it feels like it's barbed, and if I pull it out, it was going to take out my flesh." When she finally pulled the octopus off, she said the pain was intense and the bleeding lasted for a half an hour. You dumbass. Jeez. She didn't go to the hospital for 2 days, determined to finish 2 back-to-back fishing derbies first.
That's hardcore. I can respect that.
I know.
Nothing interrupts your fishing, man.
No. Between derbies, Gator would appreciate this. Between derbies, she even went to a friend's house, cooked the octopus for dinner, and enjoyed a beautiful meal that was delicious. And she said, "I got a little revenge." There's a picture of her having it on a salad, man. This octopus with a toothpick in the center of it, and her taking it out of boiling water like, "What up now, bitch? Bite my ass. I got something for you." The next day, she competed in the second derby. But when she woke up after, she realized she had to go see a doctor immediately. She goes, "I couldn't tell," or she says, "I could tell I couldn't swallow properly." That's always a bad sign. "And I could tell that when I opened my eyes, it was kind of blurry. That's also not a good sign. And the left side of my face, my throat, my glands were swollen. And I kind of felt like my left side of my face was, well, kind of paralyzed." Days later, she said she's still hurting and her face and throat remain swollen. She also has a rash on her chin to show for her bid to grab a memorable photo. Jamie said doctors told her that the swelling could linger for months. She's going to deal with this shit for months. "And I have to take tons of medicine, three different heavy doses of antibiotics, and I'm taking milk thistle, which is supposed to help with the venom." Oh my gosh. Her takeaway? I could tell everyone not to touch something that they don't know what the consequences are. Oh man. And it's funny because she won the Darwinian Award. And who won the fishing derby photo contest that set this misadventure in motion? The results, she says, are still coming sometime this week. After her octo ordeal, she's hoping it at least pays off with a win. Yeah, well, if you didn't win the photo contest, like I said before, you win the Darwinian Award. That's what you win there, sweetheart, because that was ridiculous. Yeah, that's pretty good stuff.
No, that is crazy, man. She's clearly not Australian.
Yeah.
You just don't let any animal near your face here.
I know.
Even the little cute furry ones, because they're still going to try to rip your throat out.
I know. She stuck an octopus to her face. Oh my gosh. And you have this picture when you go back and watch it. Everyone saw it, but she's like, "Oh," this face. And I bet the guy thought, "Oh, she's really into this photo," as they're snapping away, taking pictures. And it's literally she looks like Chunk off of the Goonies. Her face is all contorted. And this freaking little octopus is just sucking on her chin, man. Oh, that's so great. I love that, man.
Look, I mean, she's obviously an idiot, but she did redeem herself by just continuing on with the fishing competition. You know, like, oh, I
Yeah.
really admire her for that. You
Yeah.
know, that's showing that she got her priorities right. She's a bit dumb, but she's got her priorities right.
I know. I know. It's pretty hilarious. And yeah, she probably is. It's funny. Some people in here are saying, who said it? The liberal comment. W2F, is it? It said, she goes, she has to be a liberal. Yeah, I would have to imagine she's a libtard because that you don't think, but she did eat it. She can't be that liberal in that
Yeah,
she's
that's
in a
right.
fishing
Yeah,
derby
she can't be
and
too
then
liberal.
then she boiled it up and ate it on a salad. So, for that I have to give her props that she ate the damn thing, man. But yeah, it's pretty funny. So,
Yeah.
well, those are the main points I had to talk about tonight. I'll leave it open here for about another 5 minutes or so to find out, does anybody in the chat right now have any questions or have any, like, want us to comment on anything that was talked about tonight. Throw it out there for you guys. And
Well, while they're thinking about that, if anybody's got a question, I do like the idea of getting together on a live stream one day and working on doing a song. And it might be something that's a little bit sort of painful and awkward initially, but I think it could be something that could actually
yeah.
work. Like if you come in with a raw idea, and then we can just kind of feed off each other back and forth. I reckon that'd be fun, and you could have people who are in the chat who could come up with line ideas as well. I think that'd be, even if it's just like a little 5-minute thing that we do occasionally,
Yeah, no, we should do that. Maybe even like a 10 or 15-minute segment where, like you said, I come in with a riff or a basic chorus and verse and some basic lyrics, at least to get us, to a few lyrics for the verse and maybe a couple ideas for the chorus, so that we're not completely writing it totally, because that can get, but then we could bounce that off of the people in the chat and get some of their brain power on it.
Because that Epstein Island one, I think we worked reasonably well together on,
Yeah, and that you were just in chat on that one, weren't you? Yeah, you weren't live with me.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that would actually be a great idea to do that. That would be fun to throw something like that around. We should do that. I think that's a good idea. We will do that. My guitars I'll put away so I'd break it out. I took it camping with me and didn't play it as much as I wanted to, but I did have my whole, I got my whole recording stuff set up and my keyboard and whatnot. I don't play a ton of keyboards, but I use it to plunk around on when I'm like, coming up. And that's the other thing I do want to do, is I want to get back to songwriting, because that's really what my passion always was. It wasn't content providing or streaming, doing that. This is new to me, just the last, since really the beginning of the year till now. This is, I started my channel in October till now. So it's maybe almost been a year in October, but, prior to that, I wrote a lot of original songs that were real songs. And then when I started my channel, I'm like, I should try to apply this to, my humor and writing some parodies. And that's what kind of got me going. But I want to get back into writing music and doing that. So,
well, I used to be a singer-songwriter in a band years ago, in an old sort of a punky sort of heavy metal type band.
Yeah.
So, it'd be, it would be a bit of fun. And, I'm sure there's other people out there that are, a bit creative, that watch the feed, and you could, if you do it as a regular segment, then the people that are interested in that could just sort of come on board and,
Michael
get involved in writing.
Michael Hodges just put up in the chat too. He said, "Oh, that would be cool. I write my own songs for my band." So like getting guys like that on that are listening and be like, "Oh, dude, write the, put this line in or do that." I think we need to ban all assault octopuses. He also said that's true. There should be a facial ban on octopuses would be right. That's hilarious. But yeah. So other than that, does anybody have anything else they want to touch on or say? No? Yes? We had a good, we kept, we should do a song about Octopus Lady. That'd be funny too. That'll be out in the news cycle though in 2 days. It'll be out by tomorrow, whatever. We need to write
that is the problem with what you do. Like, I find with writing parodies, it's difficult because by the time you actually get the parody written and then you get it recorded and then you put the imagery with it, the thing that you're writing about is past.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I had a really good one that wanted to do System of a Clown, Honk Suey, when the whole honkler thing took off. But by the time I actually got the thing written and got around to recording it, the clown meme had already been and gone.
Yeah. No, I know. That is, but we need to start thinking ahead because they are pretty predictable. We know they're going to talk about X, Y, and Z, and we should try to narrow down who we know is probably going to make it into the top 5 or 6 right candidates, and then start pumping out some songs and get them prepared and ready to go with tying around what we know their main talking points are going to be. And then we should start preparing those right now and getting those recorded and ready. And then we could start dropping them at the appropriate time when we know they're really going to maybe be able to get some traction, with people out there.
It would be nice to do one about Tulsi Gabbard just demolishing Kamala Harris. That was one of the most beautiful things I've seen.
I know.
Because I really dislike that woman. I mean, there aren't too many Democrats that I look at and think, well, they're a reasonable candidate for president. But that woman in particular, I think, had a rather venal and unpleasant streak to her, even by Democrat standards.
Right.
So, I'm glad that she's been taken out. I saw her favorability rating in the black community in the US had dropped down to about 1%. Which I still think is too high. But that's good. That's basically taken her out of the race.
And I I haven't followed a lot of what Tulsi said. I'm sure much of it I wouldn't agree with, but there's some things like with war and whatnot that I'm like, she's a much more tolerable, likable person than anybody else that's in the race. I will give her that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Just to Michael Hodges there, I can just see you've got a comment up there, say, call a song Creepy Joe Biden. SJG's actually already got a song like that, which is very good. I thoroughly recommend checking it out. And a few of his others too.
Yeah.
His Ice Ice Baby song is absolutely brilliant.
It is pretty. I
love that song. That's one of the best parodies I've seen. I thoroughly recommend that one to you.
I know. And Michael Hodges he said, but you wrote a song to Let It Go too, didn't you, Rational? Let it go, let it go, let it go. The Beatles tune. Michael he said, I wrote a song, Build the Wall, to the tune of Let It Go. That'd be a good one to hear. I'd like to hear that one, Michael. You should email. By the way, for the people watching, please go to my About page and my email list and email me and follow me on Parler and follow me on Minds and follow me on BitChute because who knows when YouTube's going to pull the plug on this whole thing, and I'd like to keep as many people as I can on that. But yeah, I did do one to the Creepy Joe. Yeah, I did do that one to the tune of what's the tune of Freaky? She's
She's Freaky or something. I don't know the song or the band.
It's to Rick James, Super Freak. It's called Super Creep to the tune of Super Freak called Super Creep. Have you not heard that song, Michael? Have you not gone on and watched my Super Creep song? That's going to be a disappointment, man. From Frozen. Oh, Let It Go from Frozen, not Let It Go from the Beatles. Let it go, I can't hold back anymore. That one, and he built it to the wall. That's a great, dude. I need to hear that. Super Freak. Yeah, Super Freak. I did one called Super Creep. You need to, Michael, you need to get that to me. I want to listen to that, man. You can email that to me. Sign up for my emailing list and then email. Did I have my email on there? You guys can go to it's sjgperspective@gmail.com. That's my email. So you could email it to me. That'd be cool to hear it. I'd like to hear it. But yeah, anyway, do it. Anything else from you?
Parody even. That'd be fun.
Yeah. We'll name it the group parody, man, and we'll record it and mix it all up and put it out. That would be cool. Be a good little fun team building event, so they say.
Yep.
You got anything else, Rational?
No, not really. Just give a brief shout out to American Joe because he put one of my videos up online, and that was pretty awesome of him to do that. He put it on his channel, so I just want to say, go and check him out. He's great. And Drone Tech, and make sure you sign up with SJG Perspective. I'll do my moderator thing here. If you're not signed up with him, make sure that you are. Give him a sub, and share his stuff around, and keep coming back. Those of us who support freedom. The last thing I would say, one thing that I am doing when I'm on other people's channels and leaving a comment is that I'm sort of pushing other people out there. So I say I'll go and check out SJG Perspective or Drone Tech Politics or whoever it is who has discussed something that's being talked about in a comment thread. I really recommend doing that because YouTube have got their algorithm set up now to make sure that our voices aren't getting heard. So because YouTube aren't pushing us out there, we can do that for each other, you know, so we can sort of be pushing each other's voices out there and trying to spread the message around,
Yeah.
So that's the only other thing that I'd like to say. We're not going to beat YouTube. We're not going to beat their algorithm, but we can at least fight back a little bit. That's one way that we do it. Although having said that, I'm not actually putting any of my content in full up on YouTube now. I'm only going to put a little bit of a preview of it, and it's all just going to go straight on the BitChute, because I don't think that YouTube is a pro freedom platform, and I kind of feel it's a bit conflicting to continue to support a group of people that I know do not support me.
Right.
So,
right. Hey,
yeah, so that's it.
Good stuff right there. I appreciate that, and please do it. And if you guys, obviously, please subscribe to Rational. He's awesome, well thought out, especially for an Australian. It's weird, man, that he's as smart as he is. And I'm just going to point out right here, guys, the share button. Please share this video out. Put it on Facebook, put it on Twitter. Just share it out. Just when we're done here, just hit that button and share it out, because to your community, to your friend list, to your people, and let's pull people in that way, because that is going to be really how we make a difference. We start getting some traction. So Rational's channel, WTF, is Rational Wrongthink. If you scroll up to the very top of the live chat, if you can still get there anymore, you should be able to scroll all the way up to the top live chat. I think he should be in there, or maybe it doesn't keep it forever. He should be at the very top of the live chat. But it's if you type into the YouTube search bar Rational Wrongthink, you'll find him. It's he's got a blue little emblem. Are you not in the chat, dude, or are you in the chat, Rational?
No, I'm not in. I'm not in the chat. Otherwise, I'd put my link in there.
But you're watching it, right? How are you not in it if you're watching it? Make a comment.
No, I can't. I'm on a different system that I can't actually have associated with Rational. That's the only way I can do live streams.
Yeah, right. Okay, but yeah, just check Rational Wrongthink out, and he will. You know what I could do? Duh, I'm kind of slow sometimes, but hang on a second here. I'll do this. I'll make you one better. I'll be the moderator for Rational Wrongthink. Let me see if I
and you can just stick the link in.
Yeah, I'll stick the link in there. And I'll put his link there, copy and paste it, and come back over to here, go here, and go badink, and then paste it. There, that's Rational Wrongthink's page. So you guys can go check him out there. And other than that, I'm going to call it a night. So I appreciate everybody hanging out. This has been fun tonight. I think it was a good stream. Hey, if you get the chance, leave a comment and let me know how you thought the stream went. And, this is how I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to have some bullet points set out from next time. And we're just going to jam like this. And I like having Rational on and some guests on because it makes the stream a little more entertaining. But anyways, we're growing. We're figuring out new segments and new fun things to talk about. And until next time, since I got Rational on, I'm forced to say this. Wait a minute. Yeah, Infinite Stevens. Hey, Stephen Weibel. I got to give a shout out to my nephew-in-law, Stephen Weibel. He just joined us. And he said, Infinite Stevens. There's no other better way, my friend. There's no other better way. He just jumped in. So, Stephen, you been in here the whole time and just not commenting? Or did you just join us? Stephen? There's a bit of a delay, so I'll wait. I'll wait for you, Stephen. Hang on, Mark. We're not saying goodbye yet. You wait till I sign off before you leave. Everybody stay right the hell where you're at. Great. Now when we're signing off, we're growing back up to Rational. We got like 300 people watching us right now. I'm kidding. We don't. I wish we did. We have 7. But anyway,
I can see a 7 there.
How can you see if you're not being able to comment? I don't get that. Well,
because I'm on your live stream, but I'm not on it under Rational Wrongthink. This computer that I'm using is a different computer than the computer that I use for everything else. Okay. So this computer is not in any way linked to my online activity.
Okay. Okay. Well, Rebecca, how did you... Now, Rebecca's in there, too. She's my niece. She's awesome. I love Rebecca. Very talented. She's also a very talented little songwriter herself, actually. Rebecca, how are you not waiting for it to sync up, but Steven has to wait for it to sync up? Does he have a slow phone or something? You need to let him get a better phone. What's going on here? I'm confused with this. I'm confused with what's happening right now. I'm waiting for Steven. Steven, I came halfway through. Okay. That's what she said. I'm sorry. That was terrible, and I shouldn't have said that, and I retract that. That was so terrible that I said that. It was pretty funny. But you stepped right into that one, Steven. There's going to be a delay. So yeah, because she's just now answering the whole phone question. So wait for it. We got to see the response for the people. Oh, there, they got it now. I think
you need the 7-second delay button, dude, so you can sometimes when you use that inappropriate wit, just press the button so it mutes. But that was a good one, though.
No, it was a pretty good one. Okay, so yeah, the Deplorable. We should start a band called the Deplorables. Michael's saying, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad. I would do it, man. I would do it. They're not responding to my comment, to Steven's comment of, I'm waiting for it. If they can. I don't know. That's that was totally inappropriate, and I apologize for my my bad sense of humor.
Your humor.
Yeah, for my humor. I don't really, but all right, guys. I'm going to sign off though now. So without fear of animals, because Rational's on there, and he started this stupid tagline, and now I feel always like I have to say it when he's around. But it's really without fear or animus. It's SJG Perspective, and oops, that was. I prematurely hit that. That's also what she said. Rebecca didn't get it. She's like, laugh out loud. Wait, what comment? Because Steven said I came halfway through, and I said that's what she said. So anyways, without saying any more of this and getting any more debase, I appreciate everybody, and we will talk to you soon. It's SJG Perspective, without fear or animus. We'll talk to you later. Have a good night. Bye.
Ciao, guys.
Hang out, Rascal, for a second. We're still live, though. So wait till I get over here and I stop the stream. They can still hear us.